Hey everyone, this is Saito, and Genshin just got in a huge lot of trouble. A couple days ago something very huge happened to Genshin Impact, where they had to pay a whopping $20 million fine. This is something very uncommon, like I can't even imagine something like this happening in the past, but I will do my best to explain to you exactly what happened. So let's get into the video, but before that please consider to subscribe because it would really help the channel. Your support really matters to me and it will make me make even more videos for you. And now let's get to the video. But first of all we need to address the reason behind why they are being fined. So as they say, Genshin Impact deceived children, teens and other players into spending hundreds of dollars on prizes they stood little chance of winning. Companies that deploy these dark pattern tactics will be held accountable if they deceive players, particularly kids and teens, about the true cost of in-game transactions. And this fine is basically hitting these loot boxes, which is just the gacha system. I guess they did it just to be a bit more generic, maybe it has to also do with like CSGO with the weapon system, but I guess they're just referring to the fact that when you pull there is a small chance of getting it a 5-star, but most of the time you're not getting anything. And something that I keep noticing is that they say that it's kind of very complicated and intricate, the process of spending real money to get the actual primogems. They say that you first need real money to get the bundles, then open them and get the crystals, and then use them to get the primogems, and then use them to actually use the gacha. Which said like this may sound a bit complicated when in reality it's like the easiest thing ever. Like I don't think anyone would have a big problem with it, also because I have never seen anyone that doesn't spend money to get the crystals, because they are just the best option, especially because you can get the double with the top up, but this is not a Genshin sponsor. Also another very big no-no is just how they advertise all of this, so just by using many different channels, paying for ads and influencers, and just putting these gacha systems on like a limited time, which is a 3 weeks timer, so this will make people pull more. And also this added to the bright and colorful animation of Genshin, just the very vivid colors, this will also make players spend even more money. Now what do I think of this? So first of all, yes, of course I think that the gacha system is very addictive, but this has always been for every single gacha game, which is interesting because if you just got every single character, first of all the game will not have a lot of money, and also I feel like it will not make the characters very desirable in the end if you already know that you're going to get all of them. But is this a problem? Yeah, if you're very small, yes, this is a huge problem, especially if for some reason your parents just gave you the credit card, which is something my parents will behead me for, so at least I never had this problem. But while I know that the characters basically look like candies, so it will just make you want to pull for them a lot, and also just the ambient and all of the other aspects that make people pull for these characters, in the end this has happened for every single gacha game. Like if you're playing a gacha game, you already know that you have to go through this, like it's the literal definition of the gacha game. This is just how the character works, you don't have like a fixed chance of getting that character and you have to deal with that. I also remember China trying to ban a lot of gacha games, just putting a lot of limitations on them, like no top-up bonuses, not so many different options of getting these crystals or these primogems. They were just going to ban them all, but in the end they didn't do anything because of just how much money these games make, especially with the fact that many of these games are just Chinese. This is going to be a rough hit for China. And just a few months later they just stopped on that thing, and I don't think that we have them today. I think they just closed their eyes and ignored the gacha problem, which is honestly understandable if you're China. Now I'm just curious about what will happen to other games, such as for example Star Rail. Like for example, are they all committing the same crime, the same violation? Honestly it could be. I guess this was just a singular hit for Genshin, but it might become more than that in the future. But I feel like they're going to change a lot for Star Rail and also CCC after this, and this could also happen with so many other gacha games. Now I'm not sure about for example Wuthering Waves, but I remember that Tower of Fantasy literally had a disclaimer in the bottom right, which reminded me of fucking online casinos where they just told you to remember not to spend too much, you know, because in the end this is an actual problem, because so many people don't actually have self-control, or maybe because just spending money feels so easy, even though honestly I don't think I would spend much money on Genshin simply because the offers are not very like convenient. I don't feel like it's actually worth paying so much money just to get a few crystals, but I guess that depends on people. But even though in many of my videos I kind of shit on Genshin, I just say that I don't like the game in many ways, which is not even that true, because I actually do like the game. I don't like how it's not well treated, how they don't actually help it in any way. The devs getting sure that the game gets outclassed by a game that has just been released less than a year ago. Honestly don't find Genshin's gacha to be any weirder than the other gacha games. In fact, I actually like the PT system, because if the game didn't have the PT, it would have already been a completely different thing. Take the battle cuts for example. The battle cuts I think has one of the worst gacha gacha in the whole history of gacha games does not have a PT. It has a very low chance of getting an uber rare or a like a legend rare or whatever it's called. And besides that, you don't even know what character you're going to get. There are like I think 7 characters for each banner, and it can change every time, without even considering that some of these banners last for like unironically I think 3 days or something. So I've seen way worse gachas than this, and I don't even feel like it's any weird that they're just paying influencers to advertise the game. And same goes for the bright colors. Like I get that they did it just to make it very eye-catching and ultimately making people care a lot for the characters, just yet automatically attracted by them because of the colors, and this leading to them pulling for the characters more. But this is just a way of making characters. Like yes, the objective is to make them more marketable, but that's something normal. I don't think there is any violation behind that, so I find it to be a pretty normal thing, and if they want to make more money because of more catching colors, so be it. I think this is a completely normal thing to do for any sort of game. I think the main reason for why Genshin got targeted is because just of its size, because of just how big it is. We're talking about a game that lost 50% of its revenue in 1 year and is still on top of the whole list, which is insane. So I get why they would attack the biggest fish, but that doesn't mean that like Wuthering Waves has a better gacha system. It works basically the same. And same goes for Starro. Like that's just how the gacha system works. If you're going to play a gacha game, you're going to see the gacha system, as simple as that. And also, I don't want to sound weird, but I kind of like how hard 5 stars are to get in gacha games. The fact that you're not guaranteed to get a 5 star in a gacha game actually makes it more worth it once you get it. You just feel much better when you don't know when you will get it and once you get it. And I also like to use free-to-play options when I don't have the actual characters, because it makes the game much more challenging. The fact that you have to go through replacements, the fact that you have to change your setup because you don't have some characters, and feeling much happier when you actually get the character. So that kind of is a good thing. I'm not saying that these games are not black holes for wallets, but still I kind of like that about the game. Making it challenging to get an actual character actually is pretty nice. But in the end, it's very nice that the people under the age of 16 now can just purchase anything on Genshin, which is very nice. I remember reading some stories of people just draining their family's bank account, like their whole salary, just to buy shit on Genshin, and that was like terrible. So I'm very glad that they finally did something about it, and that is it for the video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!